Hey everybody, Queen D. Michelle here, your New Earth representative. Thank you for stopping by Sip and Share Wednesdays, where for a few minutes I, and maybe you, will sip and I'll share. The overall theme for this season 2, is planting seeds and watering plants for New Earth living. Today's episode is entitled Aspects of Well-Being, the Emotional Aspect. I'm pulling heavily and giving snippets from my book, The Road to Well-Being. It's part of the curriculum of materials included in my masterclass, Living and Inhabiting New Earth Now. And it's part 2 of a 6-part series. There are 6 aspects that make up the totality of your well-being. And they are spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social, and financial. Aspects can be healthy or unhealthy. If they're healthy, chances are you're living a pretty productive life. You're happy, possibly blissful, and stress-free. If you're not, and if one or more of those aspects are unhealthy, out of balance, it's very possible that you're not enjoying life. You may be feeling stuck, and you could be repeating some of those same old patterns of beingness. Now see, there's no test or checklist to surmise whether an aspect is healthy or unhealthy, but generally, there are prominent characteristics observed in each category. Okay, a person with an emotionally healthy aspect can navigate through a sea of emotions without becoming consumed by them. They are some of the most honest people that you'll ever meet. Most live by the creed that whether in word, action, or deed, if it is not kind, helpful, useful, or true, it is not supported or spoken. They are awakened or awakening, knowing or realizing feelings, be they good, bad, or indifferent, must be felt, embraced, examined, and then released with no judgment. They use their emotions as a guide to tune their vibrational frequency. These people are brave, courageously facing the not so pretty truths about themselves and the motives that drive their behavior. I'm talking about a healthy emotional aspect. They ask themselves the hard questions. Something like, take for instance, why did I just throw shade? Very seldom do they overreact to negative circumstances in their lives. They practice intentionally looking on the bright side of given circumstances. Emotionally healthy. Most have a meditation practice, memorized affirmations and mantras on the ready to stay emotionally balanced. Now, those are some of the characteristics of an emotionally healthy aspect. Now, a person with an unhealthy emotional aspect can be consumed by their emotions while attempting to navigate. They tend to ride an emotional roller coaster throughout their day. Most often suffer from low self-esteem and extreme insecurities. Most are still asleep, unconscious. They live much of their life from a space of resistance. Therefore, experience more and more of what they don't want. Because as you know, what you resist will persist. They just can't seem to get off the train or out of the maze or off the wheel. Old behaviors and thought patterns that don't serve them are repeated and repeated. Most tend to be in an emotional rut where life just happens to them and not for them. They go through their everyday routines as if they're on automatic pilot. Many experience depression, and some can demonstrate self-destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors. Examples: overeating, overreacting to situations, drug and alcohol abuse, and acting out in other inappropriate ways. We're talking about an unhealthy emotional aspect. It appears that anything they attempt to do in word, action, or deed, it just isn't easy. It doesn't come off easy. Some of them have possibly been called emotional wrecks or emotionally unstable. Now, when any aspect is out of balance or unhealthy, it can indirectly affect the other aspects. Emotions are the driving force behind a person's thought life, therefore, the reality that they live. When the emotional aspect is unbalanced or unhealthy, chances are extremely high that their mental aspect, which we'll dive into next Wednesday, is directly affected. Balancing emotions is key to enjoying life and living the best version of yourself. Now, it's time to grade yourself on the emotional aspect. Remember, every week for these next 6, we are grading. We're giving ourselves a report card. Now, if you didn't grade last week's, which was the spiritual aspect, go back and listen to that and then grade yourself on spiritual. You want a complete report card by the time that this series ends, because at the end of the series, I'll be giving you key practices that will assist you in improving any aspect that needs to be brought back into balance with the rest of them. Remember, there's 6. Now, spend a few minutes truly reflecting. Reflecting on your emotional aspect. No one will know the grade that you give but you. Now, put that report card up until next week, when we'll dive into the mental aspect. Like I said, this is so much fun. All right? We got 2 down and 4 to go. Now, until next week, remember to be mindful of where you're focusing your attention. Because remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And as always, one light, one love. See you next week.